They did a college game day, which is where the panel sits in front of students and faculty and everybody. We actually had Sean. We actually had some special trains for that today.
Oh yeah,
John, your keyboard is live.
my
If
keyboard.
yeah, so there's a view of your keyboard on
Oh right,
YouTube.
Yeah. Okay, I just want
Okay.
you can see it though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
what's the channel?
Do me a favor though and give me a peace sign.
Oh, I gotta
Let me
mute
see
that.
the tip of your fingers.
Cool.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, because you're using the other camera. That's right.
Now we're live. I think we are anyway.
There is a giant delay on this.
It might be what is it, 7 seconds?
No, a lot more than that because we were at 108.
Oh wow, that is super delayed. Okay, well, we're gonna roll with it.
Oh, we didn't get the I didn't get the thing in the chat, but it's cool. We'll get it afterwards.
And let's see here. Are we in the chat? Let me double check this. Are we live?
We are live.
Okay, we are live. All right. What is up, guys? It's your boy Sean Flac 2.0 coming at you live and direct here from YouTube. And this is actually our new home. So, again, I just spent the last however many hours trying to get it all set up. So this is our official first stream on this channel. And so let's get with it. With me here in the studio, I got Mr. Krinlee. He's up above me here. What up, Krinlee?
Hey.
And I got NjordGod over here. He's catty cornered over that way. If I was to touch his square.
Yeah, how's it going?
And of course, back in the studio here, we got Sensei Jon. Sensei Jon, what's up, playa?
What's happening, y'all? Man, it's good to be back. We was out for a little bit, but
We all been out for a little bit. Yeah, we've all been out for about 2 weeks.
that's what dads do.
Right, and that's it, right? Dad life is
Par for the course.
that's about it. Par for the course.
Par for the course.
So again, welcome back, everybody. It has been about a little bit of a hiatus. Just want to say welcome back. It's always good to have everybody back here in the studio. What are we talking about today, Njord?
So back when we brought up the topic 3 weeks ago, the Georgia school shooting had just recently happened. And so I figured, all of us have kids, obviously, hence the Dad's Life podcast. Some of us school age, some of us not, but eventually all of us will. So I kind of wanted to talk about school shootings, and there's certain things about it that I want to talk about. We'll get more into that when we dive into the subject, but that's kind of it. There's another topic I want to talk about because it also affected one of our hosts, the recent hurricane that just blew through the East Coast. That we'll touch on that pretty quickly, but other than that, that's all I've got.
Okay, all right. So before we get started, obviously, we want to go ahead and shout out shadowpackwest.com. Also, all the patrons that are out there. You can go check out all of our stuff that we got going on. I'm in the process of trying to get everything updated. But go ahead and check that out. If you're interested in becoming a patron, you could also go to the website. There's a splash page there. That'll take you over to our Patreon. You could subscribe as little as $1 a month, and you can get access to all of our behind the scenes and after dark episodes we currently have over there. There's currently close to 20 that are available. Additional content, us talking more ish, a little bit loose with our, with what's going on over there. Go ahead and check that out. And again, for all the current patrons, we also appreciate your continued support. Krinlee, you got anything you want to add before we get started?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and shout out since he brought up, the hurricane, Helene, whatever you want to, however you want to say it. Shout out all the linemen and the electricians and the water workers and everyone having to put in overtime to get people back in power and back safe again. Like it's been crazy.
Right. Okay. Njord, what you got for us before we get started?
Actually, I want to shout out the water workers too. I know I've done blue collar, but one of the reasons why I wasn't here not last weekend, but the weekend before, is going on call. And I know I ended my 80-hour work week with 120 hours. So, I know what you do.
Overtime.
Uncle Sam loves me right now. But, keep up the good work.
Okay, and of course, Sensei, what you got for us, sir?
Giving all praises to the Most High, our Lord and Savior. Thank you for Krinlee's and his family's. Thank you that they're safe, man.
Right.
Thank you to everybody, that was able to get away. They blessed, they safe. And I'm just glad to be here, glad to be back, glad to be amongst my buds, friends, comrades. We good, and you all out there. Thank you.
I guess I gotta unmute my mic when I'm trying to talk here. Okay, so I'm trying to do a million things at once.
Yeah.
But before we
I
get
see
started
that
with
brain going.
before we get started, before we get into what's in our cup, Sensei, did you want to touch up a little bit on some sports world going on there?
Oh yeah. Well, today was a big day out here in the Bay. We had our first game day, college game day to come to Cal Berkeley. There was a lot of students there today. Looks like they'll be there tonight for the Cal game that actually comes on here on the West Coast at 7:30. So go Cal, they're playing the Miami Hurricanes. So now they are a part of the ACC, so they get some love, baby. We ain't never had one of these because they was part of the Pac-12. Pac-12 was kind of, a little bit, they was poor. They didn't have enough money, but now they got the bread because they went to the ACC.
They had the money. They were just greedy.
Nah, man, they didn't want to see none of this over here. But it was cool though. It was a great turnout. The fans was hyped. Cal students was hyped. Everybody that was there. So it's gonna be a good game tonight. I am on Alshon. What's his name? Jet3. He plays for Boise State. I'm on his watch. Homeboy got 1,000 yards in 5 games. He took him out the second half. He's rushed for 186 yards tonight. That boy might make some noise. He's gonna be something to reckon with, maybe in the next level. But right now he is 5 games in with over 1,000 yards rushing, and looks like he might be going after some rushing records. So, yep. We got the NFL. Oh, one crazy stat.
Go ahead.
For all you football lovers out there, starting October 2nd, so we're a couple days behind, or there will be 55 days of consecutive football on television. 55 days. So there will be at least one game played, college, whether it be college, college or professional football. And this is going to be crazy. So all you football fans, get ready, man. Y'all ain't got no excuse. You get your fix every day for the next 55 or 53 days now.
Yikes. Okay. All right. So before we get into our major, first of all, thank you for that, Sensei, because I wouldn't have known none of that unless you told me. Mr. Krinlee, what we got to do first before we get into our main topic for the evening?
Next up, we're gonna do what's in your cup.
What was that? Was that a kach?
I heard that. Those are nice.
Right. Okay. What you got?
Well, we got to guess what's in my cup. We haven't finished that yet.
We're not on a new season yet.
Okay. Well, let me go first. So this right here is my cup of happy, and all that's in it is water.
What's in your happy cup?
I know, God. It is 100 degrees in where I'm recording, so I'm sorry.
It's probably a little hotter, man.
Yeah. So I'm trying not to glisten and put a glare on the screen. So
it's probably 100 degrees just outside. We having a heat wave, man. If y'all don't know, if anybody's listening from anywhere else, We having a major heat wave over here in Cali. Well, in the Bay Area. Yeah, in California, period. But yeah, Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, it was 102. You know.
Hey, at least it's a dry heat. I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not muggy. You know, I probably prefer muggy though, cause.
Oh no! Don't wish you. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Okay.
No.
I like the mud.
I've lived in both.
That Florida heat is nice. Like that muggy weather.
Okay.
I ain't got to put no lotion on. Natural perspiration.
Wow. Okay. I'm not gonna go there. I was gonna say no.
That might be a black. Hey, that might be a black thing.
I was just gonna say no Diddy on that one, but okay.
I didn't say baby
Where's the
oil
baby
now.
oil?
Come on.
Where's the baby oil?
I didn't say baby.
Oh man.
I'm just
the
man.
diddler.
Okay, right, the diddler. Okay. Newer, what's in your cup, sir?
What is in my account? My account. Jesus.
I don't know why you said
I hope
that.
some money. It better be some money in that account.
No, Uncle Sam took it all off that overtime check. I'm just sitting here drinking my same old Jameson Black Barrel and Pepsi.
Oh, can't go wrong with that.
Hey, you got to
No.
give a little, what we were talking about earlier. Go ahead and show that. What was it? Is a decanter? You know?
Yeah.
Oh. What I store my alcohol in, this was the last drink today until I go buy another one, is this.
An empty one at that.
Again, I just said it was my last drink. I just poured it for what's in my cup.
And for y'all that don't know, that's a decanter. You know, and what does it do, New York? It helps. It just opens up the alcohol.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's a kind of a fancy thing to kind of keep it in. So you see it in a lot of like older type movies, like they're in the office and they pour it, or yeah.
70.
Yep.
Or even in the Westerns days, yeah.
I've got something new. Oh, actually, no, hold on. We got to go through Krinlee first. Hold on.
Wait, no.
Really got to go last.
We got Sensei.
We got the Louis Martini.
Louis Ma.
This is a Cabernet Franc. It's only a little bit left. I ain't getting too twisted tonight. I gotta go to work tomorrow. You know, a little bit in my cup. I'm gonna take it a little bit at a time tonight, fellas.
Okay, Krinlee. So obviously you guys know that we can't discuss what's in Krinlee's cup because you're gonna have to go to last season to figure out what his go-to. I love the fact that he put it in a little koozie. He can
show it.
Right.
He can show it, but
he still gotta guess it. And of course, New York, let them know what he gets if they go ahead and get that answer correct.
So if you go back to last season and you go through what's in our cup, and you are able to go into our comments and let us know what Mr. Krinlee is drinking.
I'm going to come on over here and we're going to talk about and shout you out live on air. Give you the horns, the whole shebang. So do us a favor. Go on over and tell us what is in Krinlee's cup.
Okay. So you guys get the deal.
All right, Mr. Krinlee, what's that over your shoulder over there in the corner? Not that corner, the other corner.
This corner?
Oh, no.
Right there?
Yeah, that looks like what's in your cup.
No.
Oh.
That has nothing to do with what's in my cup.
Is that a Ninja Turtle?
I'll show it off though. It is.
Oh, it is. Now I see it. Damn it. Yeah.
Michelangelo.
Yeah. And I got this one here. Then I got the tattoo.
Oh man, never seen that. Dad. That's dope.
Okay.
So I
love
got something cool. I got something cool that I kind of want to shout out real quick before we get into our main topic.
Please do.
I am now part of the Only Dads Club.
Right. Give him the horns. Give him the horns.
Give him the horn.
I bought this hat a week and a half ago, right? Off of TikTok.
Yeah.
You guys can find it. I love it. I got it. I put it on. My daughter just fell in love because her favorite color is pink. Yes, this is a black and pink hat. There are multiple different versions and people who are trying to put out this hat. All of them are awesome. Okay, but don't be surprised if you start seeing all of us wearing an Only Dad's hat.
In your area. I don't know if you guys know who Blackpink is.
Blackpink.
Yeah, my daughter. It's like a K-pop group, and their little
Okay.
thing is like they say Blackpink in your area. Okay, let's get into it. We're going to talk about some school shootings. So, New York, you're going to be leading the conversation, so take it away.
So, again, I want to start this all off with hearts and prayers out to everyone who fell victim to Georgia, because that's who I'm specifically talking about, right? I think there was also one right before it in Minnesota that I might reference to. But as parents, again, we all have kids who are going into school, and it's something that we hope and wish will never happen, right? But it's something we got to prepare for, right? We got to think about. Unfortunately, it's a fact of life now, right? I was talking about this at dinner with my sister, who's a teacher. They're doing drills as if it was a fire alarm drill or an earthquake drill or a tornado drill, depending on where you're at. And my mom's was sitting here. She's like, "I think that's sad." And I said, "Yeah, I think that's sad too. But guess what? It needs to be done." Okay. So the major topics that I want to bring out and discuss are three things. There might be a fourth, but I'm going to seriously say three. Also, guys, kind of prepare for us to go a little bit longer, because I think this is such a detrimental topic in today's society that would love to get you guys' opinions on the full thing. Okay. But what I'm getting at, the three different topics that I know for sure that I want to talk about is, hey, what is the cause? What do we, us four, these four squares, think the root cause is of school shootings today, right? Because it started off with Columbine, and then it just started going, right, in the 90s. Second thing that I want to talk about is, what do we for? Again, all of this is prefaced with us four. Okay. So I do want to say that other people, experts, might have their own thoughts and processes, but this is our podcast. Okay. What do we think the solution is? All right. Us as dads. And the last thing that I want to touch on is, at least in Wisconsin and in Georgia, if not both parents are currently being charged with secondary manslaughter on these. Okay. And I know for a fact there are three of us hosts here who own firearms inside the house. So technically speaking, we could be one of those parents.
Yep.
Okay. So those are definitely the three things that I want to talk about, because
Well,
it affects us.
specifically on a third one, so I got the cause, the solution potentially, but what is the last? Because I'm the one that does not own the gun.
It's more or less your opinion on the parents being charged.
Got it. Okay, the opinions on the
Okay,
parents. Okay.
And I'm assuming that the three of us are law-abiding gun owners. Okay, we house our firearms how they are supposed to be kept, right? But guess what? What happens if we'll get further into that on the third topic?
Okay. Just want to clarify what. Okay.
I gotcha.
Okay.
So I guess I kind of want to sit here, and I would like to get the non-gun owner's opinion first, if I'm being honest. So Sean,
Yeah.
I would actually like to start with you.
Okay. So cause, or so the first thing, honestly, the cause is something that I don't know if you want to call it, but we grew up, we knew in school, right? And this is, again, we are this is my perception of it, but it's in high school you had cliques, right? So I guess in certain situations, you had like your jocks, you had your whatever, then you had your little nerds and all that stuff or whatever. And I felt like it kind of it stems from that, right? Like from that, like if you're not part of it, you're not part of it. I'm not saying for everything, because there was some other stuff, but the ones that I could think of, the shootings I could think of now, I felt like they were outliers. They did not feel like they were a part of that community in some way, shape, or form. And let it had been bullying but I really think the biggest thing is if you don't feel like you're a part of something, you could easily alienate it and you could easily take some type of form. I think school shootings, I think it's the tool versus like they were going to be that way if they had access to a weapon or not. Right. But I feel that I feel like the cause comes from when folks don't feel like they're a part of, and again, a lot of stuff going on. I mean, that's very extreme, but like, not only that part, but like if they're the only love that they have is going to school, and they're not part of that, and the family dynamic is not there. And I don't want to call it mental issues because there's other things than that. But I feel when somebody feels like they're going to be an outlier, and they feel like they could be pushed, and then I also feel like the teaching about the sanctity of life. Like, it's not there. Like, we play video games. We have our kids in front of our video games. And, I wrote a blog, talked about, well, what if in a video game that you played, once you got killed, you couldn't play the game anymore, right? Versus you being able to go and shoot 20,000 people or get your KDR or whatever, and you're going to respawn. Right, so you have like this.
Hey, hold on. Okay, so there may be non-gamers here who are watching us, and you just definitely threw out a gaming term of KDR. Okay,
so your KDR is your kill-death ratio. So like you could go and you could, again, the thought process is, hey, I could shoot somebody or whatever, and they're gonna respawn, or I could get shot, and I'm gonna respawn. I really think that sanctity of life. It's like, okay, we become so numb to it that we're not scared of it anymore, and it becomes an easier action to do. So I mean, I don't want to go too deep, but I would kind of start off with that. Like, I feel like if somebody doesn't feel like they're part of that community or anything like that, let it be from at home or at school, you could always track back to each case when it came to a kid shooting at school, that's shooting at a school, that was generally the case. They were like transgender or something like that, or they didn't think this. And again, there isn't that reinforcement of inclusivity, and if you don't feel like you're a part of it, I feel like it's easier for them to say F it, and I'm just gonna go off in a blaze of glory.
Okay, so we're gonna tackle one thing, one of the topics on each go around. Is that how you want to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I could go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's a good one. Anyone want to respond to anything that Sean said real quick before we go on to yours? The only thing that I had it. There was something that I wanted to respond to. Actually, yes. The whole video game thing. Like, again, just a thought on it is, in the 60s, the 70s, 80s, we had horror movies that had just as much gore. But we didn't have these issues, right? So again, because my thought on that is, how many times have parents always been out, or some government official, the gore video games, this, that, or the other, yet, just my thought,
Yeah. And here's the deal. Like, we're dealing with a completely different generation of folks, and some folks are being raised by the internet. Or being raised by, again, if you don't have that family dynamic, and we always go back to that. And that's why, you always try to teach your kid to be kind in school, because you don't know, that might be the only positive interaction that they have. And then they have easy access to it. Like, you watch these horror movies, you weren't in the action of trying to snipe somebody from 700 yards. You watched it and you were like, oh my God, that's scary. I'm out of here. You didn't interact with that.
And I like the point you made too, where you said, you get used to, like, you're killing people, but they're going to respawn.
So there's no sense.
Or you're going to die, but you're going to respawn. So, yeah, it's like
we've been
when you kill people in real life, they don't respawn.
Sensei, so say that again one more time, because you came in kind of low.
I just said we've been desensitized to everything that is blood, gore. I mean, even the internet, you can see somebody getting shot, beat up, killed, whatever. It doesn't matter. Twitter, I believe, like, I make sure, I try not to watch too much of that. Before I have, but now, being older and stuff, I don't want to be desensitized to it, because, I want to be able to spring into action if anything, happens to anyone, especially in my family. But take this for instance. If you were walking down the street and you saw somebody, did we answer this before? You saw somebody getting their ass. Would you stop and do anything? Like, we just see it so much. Or would you pull out your phone? And
Right.
record it?
I don't think we answered that.
No, I've never even heard that question
Mhm.
myself.
But I mean, that's
even like,
that's a hard decision to make because
Correct.
it's so crazy out. You might want to try to stop somebody from getting beat up, but you might get shanked. And
or
and then
shot.
but you don't know what they have or what they got, and
I mean, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, right?
California, you can't stay ready unless you got that CCW.
You're right.
Welcome to America.
Even then, you can't just whip it out. Your life got to be in danger, not somebody else's. You ain't the police.
Right.
Yeah.
So
with that, Sensei, I would actually like to get your thought process on the root cause of school shootings.
The root, in my opinion, I'm with Flac on different generation of kids. We were more family oriented back in this 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We sat down as a family, even 80s. And I just think that it's a lot of kids is raising kids.
yeah.
It's getting younger and younger, and these kids, like you said, are outliers or whatever, maybe. But it's also I'm answering the last questions. It's the parents' fault, too, a lot of the times. Why? Because they give them these weapons, they give them these guns, and they don't teach them, maybe they teach them the safety for themselves. But how about safety? And that's fine, but you have to watch your kids. You have to monitor everything that they do. These are kids, but the cause, it could be, I want to say malfunction of your brain, brain malfunctions, thinking, you could just do whatever you want. It could be mental illness. There's a plethora of causes that could be, and you get mad and, you think you're going to teach a person a lesson, but now, we don't teach people lessons like we used to with our fists. There's no fights, It's all about what can I get to harm this person. And after you do it, some of these people are regretful. Some of them ain't,
Right.
Like looking at a stone cold, wall.
I just want to add something real quick. The whole ADHD thing, because my son has ADHD, right? And he doesn't think about the consequence. It's just, and it's just like if you mix that with something else, where they don't.
Oh, I completely agree with that. The impulsivity of it all.
Yes, and it's just like we have a lot of cases now of ADHD, ADD, and all these things, and these kids, and they all want to show them a lesson, and they think it, I'm just gonna go, and then you get that whole thing about, oh no, if I shoot them, they'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to do
They'll
that.
respond.
Yeah, I feel like that's, but if you don't teach the consequence, right, that comes with that, or even, like, I want to know what's wrong. I want to know what's happening to these kids. And, they don't want to put their names out there. They want to protect them from, like, no, parade that motherfucker around so the other kids that think they might be able to get away with something like this, it's not going to happen. This is what's going to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No, you're good. The video game thing really is like, I'm not gonna say it's the number one reason. I don't know what the number one reason is, but if you sit hours, their brains aren't even developed as young kids.
Not till you're 25.
Exactly. So what do you think that's being ingested into their brain? And they're playing that thing 12, 15 hours a day, during the summertime, and then as soon as they wake up, they playing it before they go to school. As soon as they go to sleep, before they go to sleep, and maybe in some cases they aren't playing video games. Somebody might be getting a hold of them on the internet, and telling them to do this shit, You know, we always think of government conspiracy, but how about, you know, they talking to the wrong people to be able to get the guns, or find the places, or, you know, things like that. So there's a bunch of shit.
Okay.
I digress.
I mean, we can go down a complete rabbit hole, of all of that.
Right.
But Mr. Krinlee, let's get your way in on this before I go into mine.
I'm gonna add in a fifth opinion too, because I was actually talking with my brother about this yesterday.
It's a big topic.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and he said something about, you know, like probably mid to late '90s. The government started getting more strict about how parents can discipline their children, or even if they can discipline their children. And I wanted to add to that, schools have gotten soft. When I was in elementary school, when I acted out, I got paddled. Schools don't do that anymore.
There's part of my solution.
I mean, there should be discipline in school. Like, I mean, maybe.
So with that though, just to kind of respond, if you go to a private school, there are some private schools that do corporal punishment, but guess what? The parents have to allow that, right? So Johnny could be getting paddled, but you signed that your kid can't have corporal punishment at school, so Susie's not for doing the same exact action. Right.
I mean, the punishment should fit the crime, no matter who it is. Like, if you're going to do something for one, it should be standard.
Right.
Maybe that's what these kids is missing. They don't know how to do the time.
Yeah.
All right.
So going into mine, right? You know, again, I was doing research on Georgia, right before while I was at dinner, just seeing if there's any new updates that kind of came out, right? And I was able to have this conversation, that what's the cause, right? There's a correlation that I want you guys to think about real quick. Okay, what kind of violence did we have in the 60s, 70s, and 80s?
As far as school?
No, just in general, killings.
Gangs?
Isn't drugs?
Serial killers.
Oh.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
What do we not hear about almost anymore?
Serial killers?
Yeah.
What's your point?
What I'm saying, one of my correlations is our serial killers are now popping off early. Okay, they're in a target rich environment, and I hate to put it that way, but a fact. Okay,
Good point.
and they're peaking early. Okay, I mean, you said it yourself. The majority of the individuals who are going in the courtroom, stone cold killers, right? Not regretful. I'm sorry. Name me one person who's going to inflict that much damage in their right state of mind that is going to be stone cold. A month after the fact in court.
Right.
Okay, you know what I mean? There's definitely something not right there. Okay. I know two of you guys have actually said this as well. I honestly believe that all of this starts with the family. Okay, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, before Columbine, we had access to guns, right? We had the access to guns, but what did we have in the 50s, 60s, 70s? We had a parent who was at home at all times.
I was gonna say common sense, but we had a parent who was home. yeah.
They were vigilant. They were watching their kids. But now, guess what? Our society, we need a 2-income household.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't say society, our economy.
But you say our economy, but who voted our economy that way?
Society.
Society did.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not picking a side. I'm just saying in general,
Right.
our society voted in a way to where we need a dual income household in order to survive.
Right.
Okay.
And
So
one thing I'm going to add too about community, because that's a big thing too, is if you did something wrong, your neighbor could beat your ass, and then tell your parents, and then they would beat your ass too. So,
Again.
yes. So there's a lack of that, right? I feel there's this whole movement to mind your own business, and it was like, well, if my kid is doing something stupid, it was my neighbor's job. If they saw, hey, I know who your daddy is. You better act right, because your daddy's gonna put his foot in your ass.
These kids ain't scared of nothing, huh?
Yeah.
And actually, I know we typically put out our chat people's comments later on, but this one hits key on what one of you guys said, right? Alex Hitter put out there, they want to, speaking about parents, right? They want to be friends with their kids instead of being parents first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree
going back
with
to
you,
that, going back to the discipline part of things, right?
Yeah.
100% agree. We are not their friends.
Right.
We are their parents first. Okay.
First.
So, kind of getting back to the
You don't become
overall
friends until you become over 18.
And you out my house.
no. Out of my house. Out of my house is when we become friends. Okay.
Yeah.
So that right there is at least our 4 opinions of what the cause is of school shootings. Okay. Now I want to get into, what do we think our solutions are? Us four. Okay.
Man.
It's no one else's opinions. Our opinions don't reflect anything else other than our own opinions. So I am going to state that first and foremost. We understand that there are people who might watch this that disagree with our opinions, but guess what? They're ours. All right. So with that, I'm actually going to flip up the rotation. I'm going to start with Mr. Krinlee. What do you think your solution would be for school shootings?
Honestly, I don't think there is a specific solution. I think it's like the whole serial killer thing. It's going to be something. It's going to have to evolve into something else eventually.
Okay. So let me preface it this way then, for your answer, because I'm going to get an answer out of you. Okay. How do you take it from 4 to 15 being victimed, okay, to just maybe 1?
Who, the shooter?
No. I'm saying because reaction time. Okay, being instead of being able to go from classroom to classroom to classroom, only being able to go to one classroom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What do you think your solution would be?
I mean, well, like you said earlier, drills. I mean, as scary as it is, and how people might be like, well, why should you have to do that? I mean, because it's a real thing now. Like, I mean, it's like tornado drills.
Earthquake drills.
I live on the east, or close to the East Coast. I don't have to worry about tornadoes, but we had to do tornado drills when I was at school. So,
Probably a good thing after Helen.
Yeah. But, I mean, just practice, like, being aware that hopefully it never happens, but it is a possibility that it could happen. As a student and a teacher, well, mostly the teachers, hopefully, but...
Okay. Is that all you got? Just drills?
That, I mean...
Don't be putting him on the spot like that.
Pay attention to people.
Well, I want him.
Krinlee is a man of few words.
No. Sorry. I don't mean it in a hey, give me more. I mean it in a like, are you good with your answer that you're ready for Sensei to go next?
Well, I will say, I mean, just pay attention to people. Like, they say like after the fact, people are always like, man, I should have seen this coming, or I could have seen this coming, but I didn't do anything. Like just pay attention to people, talk to people. Like if you see somebody
Absolutely.
that looks like they're having a tough time, just be like, hey, what's going on, or it can be okay or something. Just talk to people and don't be a dick.
Plain and simple. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Great ending words for our second topic, Mr. Sensei.
Yeah.
Sensei Jon, what do you think your opinion is on a solution for school shootings in general, or if you don't have in general, on stopping them from getting past the first classroom?
Shit. Well, we ain't taking gun laws away, so that ain't that's not an option. I would hate for the kids to be everybody to have a metal detector in their damn school. I mean, that's a solution. I mean, is it a wise one? Probably not, because then the kids feel institutionalized.
Right.
You put gates up around everywhere you go, they still feel institutionalized. There's no freedom. School is supposed to be a place of happiness and freedom and learning, right?
I had gates in my school in Southern California.
Yeah, but I didn't. We had gates, we had chain link fences, and but that was just to block off from people just
People
coming
ditching.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our school was on the hill, so hillside. More police can cause more problems. You know what I mean? Because they may not all be trained the same. So there's a plethora of solutions, but what's the right solution?
That is what you're going to be answering.
Yeah, that's the hard question. That is one of the ones you take video games away. You can't do that. They're here. You can't, force people to be a family, because nobody can interfere in your family because it's your family, right?
You're saying things. Hey, Sensei, you're going down a rabbit hole. You're saying things that it can't be. What do you think it can be?
It's the family. It is definitely, for me, the family. It is the love and the 2-person households. A mom and a dad. Somebody at least one of them got to have some sense. You know what I mean?
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. And it is monitoring your kids, man. Even if you give them a weapon, which is their right to have for hunting or whatever, as an American.
I'm 18 years old.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So then they're not supposed to be handling your weapon then.
No, they cannot own, and they cannot physically own or purchase a firearm until they are 18 years old. And that's long rifles only. You have to be 21 in order to purchase a pistol. That's correct.
Right. So, I mean, for me, it starts with your family. It's, but, and, having a little bit of God in you, a little Jesus Christ in you, a little fear. I fear the Lord. I fear what happens, if I go somewhere and do some harm to somebody, Yeah, all can be forgiven, but shoot, you just never know. It's man, it's so my solution, healthy and happy families. Shit, I mean, that's the best thing I can do, because everything else is, it's up to you as an American person to do.
Okay. Those are good solutions. Now let's get to our boss man, our creator, our main original host, Sean Flac. What do you think is our solution? Either, and I'll say it again, either from stopping them or from stopping them to get to the second classroom.
Yeah, my thing is number one, don't hide it, right? I mean, stop. First of all, don't glorify it, right? Don't make it like it's like it needs to be out there. We need to show that there is punishment for these kids. How it's a negative impact Like you got, oh, we're not gonna do, and like I said, I touched on this a little bit, but stop glorifying the shit. Stop glorifying dumb stuff, you know, and really teach, and you know how they used to do Dare to keep kids off drugs, like do a program like that teaches and shows, like, hey, yes, it might be a mental health program or whatever the case is, and stuff like that, but show the fact that, you know, this is a dumbass move, number one, if you decide to do it. You know, really, you got to interview and you got to get to the root cause of each individual, like, shooting, because there's not just school shootings, right? There's also, like, mass shootings, right? More than 3 or 4 people. We're specifically talking about the whole kid thing. Put a program together where we are teaching, you know, like, oh, not just the drills, but hey, this is what's going on, right? These are the causes that we've seen. If you feel like this is the path, like how they do suicide prevention stuff, if you feel that this is the path you need to take, you know, this is what's going to happen to you.
Because there's only 2 outcomes.
Yes. Either you go to jail or you dead.
Right.
That's what this is. If you feel you've gotten to this part where you could either throw your life away or be willing to take somebody else's life, right? Again, knowing that these are human beings too. They have families too. You got to humanize that again. You have to make people sensitive to the taking of loss of life. And then you have to parade them around. This is what's going to happen to you if you decide to do that. There is no respawn. They are not going to get back up. You know, you're going to end a life, and either you're going to live with it, you're a stone cold killer or whatever, and you're going to get in jail. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be, that's where you're going to go. And like I said, stop glorifying it and putting it out there. You know, stop the taboo of it being no, man.
Here's the only hole. And I hate to contradict you, but the only hole in your logic there, just for a second, okay, is one of the big things that they tried to do with serial killers was to don't give them a name, right? Don't parade them through the media. Why? Because even though you're not trying to glorify them, you're still giving them a body count on national news. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's still, for a deranged mind, glorifying. Okay, and that's again one of the things that they would sit here, what they do like in hostage negotiations, right? Is humanizing the victims that are still alive.
Right.
Right. So that is a very good thing, but going from don't glorify them, but then parade them around, it's a little contradictory there.
And what I mean by that is, again, you gotta start censoring these kids what they're getting. You know, don't glorify the killing of but people is what I'm trying to get at. Right.
Okay.
But you should let them know of the consequence, and that should not be like, well, what happened to the Columbine kids? What happened to them? You know. What happened to the guy that, you know, went to the Batman thing and he looked like the Joker and shot everybody? You know what I'm saying? It's like taboo stuff, right? Just young adults too. I'm not just talking about school shootings either, but young adults. Like, they think this stuff is, you know, they get desensitized, and what we need to do is we need to bring that back. That's, I feel, the solution. That does talk about talking to your neighbor. That does talk about talking. You know, I'm a union member, and people say, you know, they could demonize because he's a union member, he's a union thug, blah, 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 blah. So I hate them, right? They're overpaid, undereducated, blah. But if you say, can you say that about the neighbor you talk to every day? If you put a face and a family to somebody, and you invest in people, you invest in the community, you get back to those ideals that I want, that I grew up, that I try to put out there, I think it helps. Like, again, knowing that you're part of something, knowing somebody's watching, knowing that you can be safe, knowing that if this is the safe place that you have, you're going to do what you can to protect it, and you're not going to do anything to disrupt it. You got to bring it back to that. And I'm not going to leave it up to the government to, you know, again, just like we talked about, I'm not going to leave it up to them to regulate guns and, you know, school. And, you know, to me, you got to bring it back to this last part that we're going to talk about. That's what I got for a solution. And it's humanizing people.
So I'm going to go into mine, and I have actually a few. Okay. Kind of going along with what Sean Flac said. Again, some of, like 3 or 4 of my solutions actually came up at dinner tonight. Around family dinner talk. Mm-hmm. Public executions.
He said, we gonna put this on Max pay-per-view?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, well, I mean, potentially those who want to witness what happens to individuals who, I mean, yes.
I prefer the guillotine.
Okay, I'm sorry, but these individuals, let's be honest, right? These individuals were caught red-handed. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay? The individuals that we are talking about, there is no appeal.
So we're going to put them on death row and kill them on live TV then.
You want to talk about what happens to these individuals who do this, you're going to know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wow.
Right? Right?
That'd be a wow moment.
You should check this out, player.
Okay, exactly. Hey, you want to know what happened? You want to know what happened to the Georgia shooter? Let's watch it.
Yeah. Bring it up. Pull it up on YouTube.
But I've got a point. Okay?
And that's what I mean about, like, parade that around.
Exactly.
You know, parade around the consequence.
Okay, so public
But
executions.
Isn't that dehumanizing?
Say that again?
Isn't that dehumanizing?
You know what?
It's showing a consequence. This is an individual who decided to do all of this, and this is what happened to him. And I'm going to tell you, I want it hanging because it doesn't happen fast.
I can't. Okay, I can't support the hanging.
Again, it is a terrible way to go. It is a terrible way to go. It doesn't just be like, okay, you're done, right? I want them to
waterboarding.
Jesus. I want them to suffer. I'm sorry if they shot my kid.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. You know, I want revenge.
I want them to suffer.
Okay.
It is one of the worst ways to go. All right. So, public execution.
Hangings. Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm going to sit here and our next topic is, you know, some of these parents are getting charged. I don't know if you guys have researched recently anything about the Georgia school shooting. The mother called the school 30 minutes before the first gunshot and warned them.
Oh, so it was the mama. I heard somebody called. I didn't realize it was the person's mom. And why is that? Did she realize
she had a feeling. I don't know. Mama's got a criminal record. Okay. Mama and daddy were divorced. Mama's got a criminal record.
How the hell did the kid get the gun?
That's in the next segment. School officials should start getting prosecuted as well. How many times have we heard in school shootings, this kid was bullied, this kid was bullied, this kid was bullied, this kid was bullied? Why was the school not doing something? Okay, and the reason why I don't have a problem with that is because how many schools do we have across this country? Millions, right? How many per the millions? How many school shootings do we have? Probably about 0.05%. Realistically speaking, okay, not to try to downplay it, but realistically speaking, okay. Those school officials, something should be happening, whether it's, and in the case of Georgia, right, my mom brought up this fact, well, how do we know that the principal got the information? Because, you know, mama was a a felon, right? What makes you think that the school receptionist just didn't pass on the information? Well, if the receptionist didn't pass on the information, guess what? She's the one going to jail.
Hang her too, huh?
No. Jail.
Jail.
Okay. Jail. All right. Now, if the principal was like, "Oh, well, it's just that mom, just kind of going off the crazy and doesn't start the investigation," then the principal goes.
Okay. I mean, I
Okay.
could. So we're talking. So let me just, for right now, we're looking at public hangings, and the school should be held accountable as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. So for the bullying, the all the stuff, right? Because bullying's been an issue for ages.
Well, that's the whole thing about
Right.
my whole thing about the cause I felt too is
Right.
that.
Right. But like I said, school should be held accountable for that. My next one. Do you realize how many former police officers or military veterans that are willing to be security at schools? That have a vested interest in our nation, in our next generation, that would willingly protect our schools.
Oh, you got some numbers for us?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
The only I don't have numbers, but the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because I've heard it for about a decade now. That is an option.
so more security.
More security, absolutely. Why not protect the most precious thing to our community, our kids? Okay, they are our future, right?
Right.
Okay, so more security. And that's not necessarily talking about gates or anything like that. That's like actual people there who are going to respond. School resource officers that do not show up into the room. Yes, I'm talking about the Aurora school shooting. Okay? They ought to go to jail instantly. If there's live footage that they did not go into that room because they were afraid, I'm sorry, that's your job. You go to jail. Okay?
It's their job to go into the room with an active shooter?
Absolutely. Their job is to protect and serve.
The teachers?
No,
No,
I said
cops.
the cops.
Oh, I thought you meant the teachers. Excuse me. Sorry.
No, the cops. Their job is to protect and serve.
Oh, yeah. Get your ass in there, man.
Yeah.
So-
Yes.
I mean, here. So more security, and I'm
Okay.
gonna rebuke you here on.
I got
on
you.
These points.
I got
So
you.
I'm trying to make sure I get clarification on everything.
The last one I have is I want to arm teachers. Now, with that, hold on. There is
You're right. I'll let Sensei argue
hold on.
on that one.
I want to clarify my requirements on that. Okay? Not every teacher's getting armed. Okay? Not every single teacher's getting armed. I want yearly psychological tests. I want yearly performance tests, right? When you go for your CCW, you actually have to take a shooting exam. You have to pull the trigger and hit your targets. I want that. Okay? I want yearly training. Okay? So these are teachers who are volunteering to be armed at school. Okay? They have to go, again, my preface on arming the teachers, that is the requirement behind it. Psychological exams annually, performance testing, and then annual training. So it's not just, hey, look, I got a gun in school. Okay, no, that's not what we're talking about. These are teachers who are actually dedicated to protecting, because I don't know how many teachers who sit here and say, those are my kids. Okay, well, let's prove it.
Okay.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Right. Okay. I mean,
In a situation where we're like now, yes.
it's so kind of. I mean, let's backtrack. I mean, again, I don't necessarily agree with the public hangings, but I get that portion of it. I mean, let it be shown, right? Whatever that is, right? the school, man, you know what? Because the hard part about the school being held accountable, is our society and the way it is. And you'd have to make some really, really big government legislation things where, you're gonna hold a school accountable for the notification of, right?
So why do they get an immunity? Because they've gotten immunity on everything.
No, my thing is that you send your that's here's the issue, right? The school is a school. It's not a battleground. It's not, they didn't sign up when they became into like the educator's, job. They didn't sign up to hold guns. They didn't sign up.
No.
Listen.
They signed up.
Hey, I let you speak.
Okay.
So let me finish my topics here, right? They didn't. Again, we're talking about education, right? You want to arm them. You want to hold them accountable. And you want more security. Guess what you need? More money.
Money. Yeah.
And if you can't, again, that's why it has to start from the top. If you can't even get them to have school supplies, what makes you think any of that's a priority? What makes you think you're going to get the money to train and psychologically, who's going to buy the ammo? Who's going to buy the gun? And then we're talking about gun laws. I mean, that is a huge, long laundry list. In my opinion, is not viable unless you're willing to make the financial investment into it. And if we look at the way we are, right, and this is capitalism, it has to be profitable. If we're going to we need to get something back. And unfortunately, where we are, and that's why there's so many charter schools and homeschool and whatever, America does not believe in funding public education. And so you're going to fund that? To me, it does not seem viable. It does not seem, that could be, that's where it's just the money. It's a money thing. Okay. And to expect a teacher or whatever, again, all these parents, because each teacher has 20 bosses. They want their kid to be you'd have to make a societal change.
20?
At least.
20?
Right? Right, because each parent, right, you got 26, 30.
I'm saying like 30 to 40, yeah.
Right. So you really would have, and that is a long list. Like, if I wanted to be a teacher, I didn't sign up for that. And if that's what this is, then there has to be a major societal change, right? To where, okay, how come we just don't protect the community that way? You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say there. When it comes to an educator, again, you want to expect and held all of them accountable, and these people make $35,000 a year. They make $25,000 a year.
If you guys are watching this right now, make sure you head on over to shadowpackwest.com and become a Patreon today for my rebuttal, so you can see the After Dark.
Yeah.
So. Okay, did you start us off, that was just the rebuttal on what I said, right?
Yeah, I just had.
Did anyone else have a rebuttal? Did we have a rebuttal on anything? Anyone else have a rebuttal on what I said?
Nah, we'll get you an after dark.
Okay, I got you. Okay. All right. So our last topic on school shooting is we've got parents now who are getting criminal charges brought against them for their kids doing these heinous crimes, these heinous acts. Okay. Have any of you guys read or researched anything further on the Georgia father?
No.
Or are you guys kind of relying on me to bring the information?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we are relying on you. Yes, sir. We are going to hear what you have to say and rebuttal off of that.
So a lot of this starts a year prior to the shooting, from the actual pulling the trigger. Okay. There was apparently an investigation into Colt. The shooter's name is Colt. I don't remember his last name, so there we go. And because of a threat made on Discord. Y'all, we're using Discord now. Okay, we know what it is.
Right.
So this huge thing went on. The father was cooperative with the police investigation, and again, this is according to quite a few different articles that I've been reading, that after that kind of happened, you know, prior to it, the father was already kind of going to the schools like, hey, my kid's getting bullied. My kid's getting bullied, right? That was getting done. This was in 7th, 8th grade. We get to our freshman year in high school, and that's when the shooting began, okay? During the year, right, of after the investigation, between the investigation and the pulling of the trigger, Dad was trying to get him outdoors, okay? According to multiple different articles that I've read, right? Trying to get him out, not being glued to the video games, this, that, and the other, you know, becoming a recluse and just, you know, psychologically just in that sounding board in his head of all the crap that's going on in his life, right? Mama's a felon. He's getting bullied at school, this, that, and the other.
Well, you know what? Hold your thought, because let's go ahead and end the show, because it's out over the hour mark, and then we'll continue in the After Dark.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're not going to have time for a long After Dark. It just depends on how fast your rebuttal is going to be. So
we're good. My rebuttal is going to be pretty quick.
Okay, so let's continue then.
Okay. So he got him into hunting, kind of doing all of this, and then Dad bought an AR-15 for him for Christmas. What I do not see in any of the articles was, did Colt have free reign of accessing it? What are the cases may be? That I don't know. I don't have a clear picture of it, so I'm not really going to speculate. Okay. But that was the thing that father and son did together, is they went and hunted. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd get my boy a gun, but I'd keep it in my safe. You know what I mean? So Dad is now charged with 4 counts of 2nd-degree homicide. Okay. As well as multiple counts of child endangerment.
Yep. As he should be.
Sensei, why?
Because it's his job as a parent, as a protector of not only his son but other people, kid, because he is granting him the access to be able to use the gun. It's his job to be able to store the gun in a safe place without his son being able to access it whenever he has free will.
Okay, I want to stop you there, because this is what I was hoping you would say. I come home, my safe is broken open. My gun is gone. I have an AR-15 in that safe.
It's your job to be able to provide it with a safe that can't be broke open.
I have it in a safe. I'm a responsible gun owner. They did something. They were able to break it open, whatever the case may be. I have no clue how they did it. Okay. No, hold on. Listen. As soon as I get home, I report it missing to the authorities. Next day, 7 kids are murdered at a school with my AR-15.
Okay, that's different. We're talking
No. It's still technically the same. My kid's friend broke into my safe and took my gun. Am I responsible?
We're talking about your kid, not anybody else.
Okay, fine. Let's say baby Freya broke it open, took it, and started shooting people.
Yeah, you going to jail. I believe that you should be able to go to jail. You know why? Because baby Freya should never know any combinations. And let's say she better have some C4 to be able to blow that thing up. You better have access to some, whatever. It better take a whole lot more than a crowbar to pry that shit open. I would hope so. That's the type of safety we need to be into.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. You ain't got to agree with it. Baby worse than, but yeah, shit. Yay, you got to go.
Okay. Krinlee, you're the next gun owner. I want to go to the non-gun owner last.
I mean,
my scenario is you've done everything right. That you're supposed to do.
I mean, it's hard. Like, I think it's all situational. I mean, I think the parents should definitely be looked into 100%. If it comes back that they did everything that they could have done, I mean, then I don't think so. But, you know, not every situation is going to be perfect.
Right.
So, I mean, well, and to get away from school shootings for just a second, like the whole Trump shooting, like his father would just like give him the gun. He's going to the gun range, right?
He escort his ass to the gun range.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, there's different situations. So,
Again,
I think
the
it's
idea,
situational.
the premise is you're a responsible gun owner.
Right.
Okay. Responsible is the key word, and this still happens to your family.
Well, I mean, if there was nothing you could have done to avoid the situation, then I don't think you should be. But again, I'm saying, like, in that situation, yes, I think maybe you wouldn't be guilty of anything if you did the best that you could.
Okay. So before I go to Sean, the reason why I bring this up is because our justice system is known to go down a slippery slope. Am I wrong? I mean, they'll right. So because you own a gun and your kid did this, even if it wasn't your gun, you're the parent.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, they're trying to set a new precedent too, because they've been letting people get away with this shit for years. And maybe, you know, one of the solutions to help stop school shootings, start charging the parents.
Just like you charge the school official, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Sean, what's your opinion?
And that's why I say it's situational.
And here's the funny part, right? I was watching a vice presidential debate, and that came up, and I was like, you know what? I actually they both. Surprisingly enough, I agreed with what JD Vance said, and he had said it is situational. If they came in and they stole your gun, right? I mean, if there's compelling,
did they really talk about this?
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
If they literally broke into your safe, the child
Was they?
the child broke into your safe. You're right. They should not have the combination.
Right.
And I've seen these gun safes at like Costco. I mean, these things are like once you close them and you lock them, they should have more than just a crowbar to get in. Now, for you to state that, they broke into it and there's no damage to the lock, no, they had access to your code and you weren't responsible at that point.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel that it is situational. I mean, because the ones where they are responsible, they didn't have the code, they literally, but unless if you are a gun owner, it is your responsibility to ensure that thing is secured with or without you at home. So for somebody to say that he broke into it and I need to call the cops, it needs to be a number one priority. Like, they need to find this boy or this whoever that took this weapon, because if they broke into my safe, they decide they are going to do something wrong, right?
Right.
And he reported it, but at the end of the day, they are going to get looked into too. They should be investigated, and there should be something that says, hey, yes, you are the parent, and you did everything you can. We came in, literally, your whole front door to safe is busted open. Okay. You did everything you could, and there was nothing you could have done. If you were here, you reported it correctly. We put the APB out, whatever the case is. No, the parent should not, because the parent physically did everything they could, right?
Right.
But if the gun is sitting out, on the workbench and, they're cleaning it or whatever, and they decide that they're going to leave and the firing pin and all that stuff's ready for the kid, they taught the kid how to put the thing together and break it all down, ammo's freely everywhere. Absolutely. Because when when you own a gun, you own anything like that, you take full responsibility. That's the same thing that I look at guns, how they talked about cars back in the day, right? And I don't know if you guys saw this animation. It was like they were blaming cars for drunk driving, and it was like a Disney thing or something. And they were driving around, oh, the cars are bad, the cars are bad, the cars are bad. It's like, no, the cars aren't bad. The driver that's driving the car is bad. Right? So the gun
Guns
isn't
don't
bad.
kill people.
Right.
People kill people.
Right. And so in that, but if I have a car, if I own a car, I'm responsible for me and everybody in it.
Right.
I'm responsible for me and everybody in my household that has access to it. So unfortunately, if we're really lax with how we treat things, and we don't respect things, and we don't whatever, and it gets out and it does hurt somebody because of your lax, then yes, you should be held accountable some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But just to say, hey, and like I said, situational. If you could say that, hey, that safe got broken into, and I just like what Sensei said, I need some C4. Yeah, the cops got to come and take pictures like, oh, this thing is pried open. This thing you should have bought from a different manufacturer because
not pride.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, like
Yeah.
But if you come in here, and
they have small gun cases that can just be pried open. Your gun should not be in that shit. I don't care what what they say. Like, oh, well,
No, they've got really good ones for handguns for nightstands.
But I'm just saying though, if you come in and say they took my gun or whatever, and you walk in and the door's wide open and ain't no lock on it, and you know what I'm saying, like there's no damage to it, that was the gun owner's responsibility to secure it, and they didn't do it.
Let me ask you this though: when you leave the house, do you put your handgun in your safe though?
My handgun stays in the safe. Okay.
No.
When I'm home.
Case.
When I'm home, it's biometric. Okay,
Right.
in my nightstand. Right. When I get home, it goes in that safe.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
it. Again, I feel the
Never mind. We don't need
responsibility does need to weigh somewhere on the parents or the gun owner, because you decided to take upon that responsibility to own that.
It's a solution. This is one of the solutions that they feel like may help parents be more responsible with their kids and guns.
Right.
Okay.
And I think too, like even if the gun didn't come from the parents, if the kid got the gun from somewhere else, I still think the parents should be looked into. Like they possibly could have known something was going on.
Jordan was like,
What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, if you're involved in your kid's life, you can see when something's going on with them.
Because maybe you're not monitoring your kids at home and their internet activities either.
right, and there goes right back to Sensei's little thing, right?
Yeah.
So okay, my turn, because I'm gonna end this 3-part topic.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go about 5 minutes.
I completely agree with you, Sean. 100%. And Krinlee, situational. Okay. If I know my kids got issues going on, okay, the last thing that they need to be around is a firearm. Period. Okay. I'm talking. Let's not even go hunting. Okay. Let's go to therapy.
Absolutely. Let's build Legos together.
Right. Okay. I think any responsible gun owner needs to be teaching, again, the things that we've talked about earlier in this session. Gun safety. Okay. Right. Those of us who own guns, we know what gun safety is. Right. We need to be teaching not only gun safety at that same time, but we need to be teaching the sanctity of life.
That's my biggest thing.
To our kids.
Yeah, that's my biggest.
Okay. I'm going to go as far as I have a almost 3-year-old now who she's got one of those little suction cup dart guns. Okay. I've already started teaching her you don't shoot people.
Yeah.
You do not point that at people.
Shit like that.
Okay. But guess what? That is the beginning of gun safety.
I hear you.
Okay.
Type of worlds too, though.
But I live in a world where we can have guns in the house. Everywhere.
No. Yeah. No, it's not that.
Right?
It's just a difference.
Right. So teaching your kids early. I believe is important, right? So 100% situational. If you broke into my safe, I have no problem with you coming to verify that I didn't just give my kid the combo or just didn't give him the gun. I've got no problems with that whatsoever. Okay, but if you can prove that they broke into my safe, and I'm sorry guys, but even if no, we're not going to go there. You broke into my safe, I shouldn't be held liable. If I reported it immediately, I shouldn't be held liable. Okay, now if again I was that person who, hey, I saw the warning signs, I saw the red flags, I saw all of this, yet I still gave access, then yeah, prosecute me to the fullest. Okay. So that is my final thoughts on this topic. Now, the one last thing that I want to say just before we get out of here, because I mentioned we would talk about it quickly, is Hurricane Helen. This affected one of our hosts pretty severely for the last, what would you say, Krinlee, 14 days you've been without power?
No, I was without power 5 days. It started last Friday until Wednesday.
Okay. So
there's still people without power, though.
So what I want to do, I want to get out there, y'all. If you know anybody who has been affected by Hurricane Helen, reach out to them. Okay. Yeah. If there's anybody that you have the ability, and I do want to stress the keyword ability, to help, do so. Okay. I personally know individuals that their house floated away out in Johnson City, Tennessee. I know there are areas out there in Tennessee as well that won't have water, drinking potable water restored to them for 30 to 60 days.
Yikes.
It's something that has impacted areas that they didn't think would be impacted, and it's a pretty terrible situation. So again, all of our hearts, all of my heart, my prayers, my thoughts out to anyone who has been affected by Hurricane Helen. I think the most drastic areas that I've heard about were Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I personally obviously have heard about Jonesboro, Irwin, Johnson City, Tennessee, and then Asheville got hit really hard as well.
Like at one point you could only get into Asheville by air.
Wow.
Yeah. It ruined, because we had multiple dams that broke, like actually just broke, water going everywhere. It wiped out tons of bridges. So like I said, if you have the ability, if you come across something that says donate here or buy a case of water for these people, please do help.
Be careful, but yeah.
Yes,
because there are scams out there too. Unfortunately,
be internet aware. Be internet aware. Okay, but
as the IT guy, I have to throw that out there.
But that
scamming over everything.
Unfortunately, I did want to talk about this a little bit further, but our main topic kind of took all that we had. So with that, that's kind of what we have right now.
Okay. Well, like I said, all our hearts and prayers from the Dad's Life podcast go out to all those affected. And I heard there's 2 more coming. So there's that too. Okay, so that's all the time we have on for today's episode of the Dad's Life podcast. Just want to say stick with us. Again, if you are a patron, we'll have our After Dark. We can talk about Njord's rebuttal to what I had to say earlier. Head over to shadowpackofwest.com to get all of our contact information. Also, you can head over there and hit that patron button to become a patron. You can start your patronage today as little as $1 a month. Also want to shout out Mr. and I want to say it's Alex Hyder. Am I saying that right? I want to say shout out to Alex Hyder for joining us this evening. We'll go ahead and give him the horn. And that's going to be it for us. I want to say thank you for listening to the Dad's Life podcast or tuning here on YouTube. Again, our new home for streaming it live and direct to you. And hopefully we'll be seeing you guys next week in the next episode of the Dad's Life podcast, where you can get your dad life.
Dad life.
Dad vibe.
Dad advice.